Now we move to India because Donald Trump is enjoying his first state visit there. The president, along with First Lady Melania Trump, began their visit in Narendra Modi's hometown, Ahmedabad. Here are some of the pictures that have come in through the day. Well, here's the president and Melania Trump getting off the plane. Big trademark bear hug from Prime Minister Modi. Thousands of others were there to offer a welcome too. As you might imagine, the town's been getting ready for the arrival, but not always in a way that everyone's approved of. This wall was part of a beautification project and essentially was built to hide a slum, which is home to around 800 families, from view as the president went by. A little bit later in the day, the president and the First Lady learned at the home of Mahatma Gandhi all about the traditional way of producing cloth. Gandhi used this skill as a form of protest against foreign-made cloth during India's struggle for self-rule from Britain, and you can see the president learning all about this. And then this was very much the main event, a huge rally to inaugurate the world's largest cricket stadium. More than 100,000 people showed up, and both of the leaders, when they addressed the crowd, spoke of their special relationship and of their hopes for the future.
India-USA relations are no longer just another partnership. It is a far greater and closer relationship.
America loves India, America respects India, and America will always be faithful and loyal friends to the Indian people.
As you can imagine, both men were thrilled with the scale of the turnout. It's reasonable to say, though, not everyone stayed to hear the end of Donald Trump's speech. Alim Iqbal, my colleague, shared this on social media earlier, showing people streaming out as Donald Trump spoke. The New York Times estimates that up to a third of people there had gone by the time the speech finished. There was also a lot of attention on Indian social media at President Trump's efforts to pronounce Indian names, including actually the city that he was speaking in.
5 months ago, the United States welcomed your great Prime Minister at a giant football stadium in Texas. And today, India welcomes us at the world's largest cricket stadium right here in Ahmedabad.
And to be honest, you could forgive him for the next one, as he went on to talk about the Indian philosopher Swami Vivekananda.
As the great religious teacher Swami Vivekananda once said.
And he had a good laugh about that, as did everyone in the stadium. Perhaps there's a little bit less sympathy, though, when the president took on a couple of Indian cricket legends, Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli.
This is the country where your people cheer on some of the world's greatest cricket players, from Sachin Tendulkar to Virat Kohli.
Still got a big cheer, and in the end, this trip's not about pronunciation, it's about the chemistry between the two men, and it's particularly about trade. Well, Mr. Trump's next stop was much further north, close to Delhi, because he and Melania Trump visited the Taj Mahal and spent some time there. Donald Trump described it as truly incredible. Now, this is an interesting dimension to the story. Michael Kugelman's from the Wilson Center, which is the think tank. He says you can't discuss Trump in India without also highlighting the violence that's played out today. It's a sign of the times in India. It's a big deal. India media outlets are breaking away from Trump-Modi to focus on this. Now, this violence is connected to a new citizenship law, which gives amnesty to non-Muslim immigrants from nearby countries, but not to Muslims. There were mass protests which began in December. We talked about them a lot on Outside Source. They very much continued today. This is in Delhi, hours before President Trump landed. One policeman died in the clashes, and critics are accusing the government of trying to marginalise India's 200 million Muslims. The government very much rejects this. But there are some of these issues in this article in Time, which we spotted by the Kolkata author Suketu Mehta, drawing comparisons between Narendra Modi and Donald Trump on what he calls their mistreatment of Muslims and tough immigration policies. Well, we should say both men would reject the idea they mistreat Muslims. Both would probably acknowledge the second. Certainly, we know President Trump is proud of his immigration policies. He's also proud of his stance on trade. He's previously described India as the king of the tariffs and called the setup unacceptable. but there's a huge amount at stake. Bear in mind, this trading relationship was worth in 2018 over $140 billion. So Mr. Trump wants a reset, The question is, will he get one? Here's Yogita Lamai in Delhi.
Well, tomorrow is actually when they get down to business. Today really was about a display of the chemistry between these two leaders. Tomorrow is when they will hold their bilateral agreement. And we got a teaser of what we might expect tomorrow in President Trump's speech today, which is a deal possibly being signed between the two countries for India to purchase $3 billion worth of military helicopters from the US. But the much touted sort of bigger trade deal, that's not expected to happen during this visit. Expectations were watered down a week ago.